On this edition of Lexington Now, the Digital Access Project, Traces and Fragments at Ashland, and the historic Lyric Theater. I'm Neil Noah. Welcome to Lexington Now for the week of February 26, 2024. We are wrapping up Black History Month here on Lex TV with a look at a historic venture, the Digital Access Project. Shay Brown of the County Clerk's Office tells us what it is and why it is so very important.
The project that we work on is the Digital Access Project, known as DAP. And within that project, we have digitized records of Fayette County from the late 1700s through 1865 and moving forward. And the thing is, we've digitized all those records, deeds, wills, and mortgage, burnt records, county court orders, and their indices. But what's fascinating about these records is the sensitive information that we can find in these records, such as the institution of slavery here in Kentucky, especially in Fayette County. And what that does, it incorporates names of those who have been enslaved, who have been bought, sold, purchased, auctioned off, emancipated, listed as fugitives in county court orders. And this gives us a sense of knowing where to start to look for information about those who are enslaved. The biggest myth in brick wall is that you cannot find information regarding genealogy for African Americans, but that's not necessarily true. It can be difficult, but there's a possibilities that we can find genealogy research for African Americans. We kicked off the project of digitizing our first general index to deeds and mortgage in May of 2022. By the end of December of last year, 2023, we have digitized over 91,000 pages, 176 books. We're working with books that are bounded, hard to open, hard to capture all the words with the words protruding in the gutter. As the county clerk's office is back digitizing to meet professionals of today, realtors and attorneys and banking industries, through DAP, we're moving forward digitizing for researchers, genealogy, geography, surveyors, and all of that, so they can get a better understanding of what Fayette County looked a century ago. With our digitization specialists, we have a team. Usually I run a team of 6 to 7 a semester. We work on it in increments of semesters based on the University of Kentucky's school year semester, calendar semester, because we incorporate community workers as well as UK student participation, and we pay them to do the work because we believe paying people to do this kind of work produces professionalism. And that's what we're offering to the community. Actually, now we're offering it to the global world, professionalism of these records. We try to work in pairs of 2, and that's kind of check and balances. One digitized, one perfects and looks at the image. We verify them, and then we have to put them online and get them made available through our online portal. What we're doing is, through the University of Kentucky partnership, we're forming a pilot system using technology to where we're going to transcribe these records, or if not transcribe them all, pull out certain important metadata information. Now, I've discovered that everybody has different ways of metadata. To a geographer, they want certain information. To a historian, they want certain information. So, but yet the record's there. And we're working to put this pilot project out there to where people can find out more information through metadata and transcription, because most people cannot read these records. They're in 3 ways. They're in cursive writing, which they don't teach in school much these days. There's county clerk writing, which is the penmanship is very unique between the county clerk and his deputy. And then there's colonial style writing, which goes back to the old England common law type style writing. So we want to be able to help people read and understand these records and all that. If you want to get involved, you can reach me at the county clerk's office. Again, I'm Shay Brown, 859-253 3344 is the phone number to the county clerk's office, or my email. You can go into FayetteCountyClerk.com, look under Land Records, Digital Access Project, and find my information. There are links on the first page under announcements that you can find my email address and email me. Website for the Digital Access Project is FayetteDeeds.com. Go to land, you click on the link on there that says Land Record Search, and at the bottom there's a link that says non-index images. Click on that because we're in process of indexing these images, but again, 91,000 pages. There's multiple records on a page, or they proceed on to another page, so that's going to take some time. But the images are there, the indexes are there. You can go to the indexes, get the book and page reference, and then click back out and go into that particular book and find where that page is. And you can print out a copy for free. The good thing about the digital image, you can also expand the image. Use your own personal computer features, iPhone technology, smartphones, and have a great image. iPads, I've seen some of our students at UK, they put it on their iPads, highlight, underline spots. It's a great tool, research tool. One thing I know that the books we have, words are fading away, books are deteriorating, but moving from paper to digital record, we're now preserving these records forever and forever, and I'm so thankful for that.
Ashland, the Henry Clay Estate, has added to its exhibit exploring the lives and contributions of the enslaved people that lived there. Here's more on Traces and Fragments.
We are out here this month celebrating Black History at Ashland, and this builds on our Traces tour, which we launched back in 2019. And we've developed a whole lot more information as time has gone by, and that's one of the most exciting things about this. And the exhibit that you see behind me, Traces and Fragments, documents how our curatorial staff has pieced together the history of the enslaved here at Ashland through farm records, personal correspondence, even newspaper advertising, and also archaeological artifacts. So, when we were doing the Traces tour, which is docent-led, people want to know, well, where did this all come from? And hopefully this exhibit begins to tell people where that came from, and the partnerships that we've had, like with the County Clerk's Office, as well as the UK's Commonwealth Institute for Black Studies. There's lots of different resources that we've called upon to build these stories for the public. And we're doing an open house on the 24th of February, which really launches sort of a Black History tour that's a little different from our Traces tour. This one explores the lives not only of the enslaved, but also the Black families that were employed post-emancipation by descendants of Henry Clay. So there's 5 generations of Clays that inhabited Ashland, and this new tour explores that full spectrum of history of how, for the most part, Ashland was populated by Black families, more so than the Clay family. So when you think about 125 enslaved people that were on this property during Henry Clay's lifetime and after, that's a lot of stories to be told, but even more stories are told with those who worked after emancipation. I think we wanted to reveal the complex history of during Henry Clay's legacy, his lifetime. That Henry Clay is noted for the great compromises that he crafted, but that dealt a lot with the growth of the nation. But in addition to that, it was also dealing with the issue of slavery. So we know that Henry Clay dealt with slavery on a political level as well as on a personal level because of all those that he had enslaved here at Ashland. So we feel like it's our responsibility to tell the complete history, to provide the total context in which people were enslaved here at Ashland, but also the fact that Henry Clay was a great statesman. But those people who cast bright light also cast a long shadow. And we're exploring both those sides of the Clay legacy. One of the things that we've really have focused on is more who they were as individuals and what they did in terms of their resistance or resilience as enslaved people. What they did on the property is sort of self-evident of, the forced labor of, the hemp crops and the livestock and taking care of the children and all these other tasks that they were compelled to do. But our goal is really to shed a light on the humanity of these people, like who they were as mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, because they did have life off the estate as well. This process is ongoing because of our partnerships with the county clerk's office and other entities. We're constantly finding more information, but we're hoping by having public programs like an open house tour and the regular Traces tour, that provides an opening for people to bring us information from their own family history.
We formed this relationship through the project which I co-direct with Dr. Vanessa Holden, who is a part of the University of Kentucky. The project that we work on is the Digital Access Project known as DAP. And within that project, we have digitized records of Fayette County from the late 1700s through 1865 and moving forward. But what's fascinating about these records is the sensitive information that we can find in these records, such as the institution of slavery here in Kentucky, especially in Fayette County. And what you can do, even like here at the Ashland Henry Clay Estate, we don't forget those names. We memorialize those names. We remember, we find ways to reconcile and what can heal, bring healing. Henry Clay was a great entrepreneur, a great compromiser, a great politician and lawyer, but he also had another side to his story that we also want to tell that narrative. But also we want to bring up the highlight that these records that we have, a lot of those records were prepared and executed by Henry Clay. It shows us the nature of law, that moving forward, why we file wills and mortgages and deeds and why they're worded a certain way. His brilliant expertise on how he prepared legal documents to unveil certain aspects of the law, but to also to cover up certain aspects of the law. We have those records at the county clerk's office. We have them digitized. Now you have access to them at your home on the internet. Whereas before you had to come in our office and go through heavy old dusty books and look at that.
When we come back, we visit the historic Lyric Theater.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Chris Van Brackle with the Lexington Police Department Traffic Unit. Today we are talking about disability accessible parking and the aisles between those parking places. Accessible parking is a valuable and necessary resource for people with disabilities, and that includes the striped area next to accessible parking spots. These are access aisles, and it is illegal to park here, even if you have an accessible parking permit. Police and LexPark will write tickets when they see vehicles parked in an access aisle or parked in an accessible space without a placard, and the fine is $250. Know where and where not to park. Keep the access aisles clear. Thank you, and drive safe.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. We caught up with Historic Lyric Theater Executive Director Christian Adair to talk about the rich cultural history of the iconic East End venue and its many contributions to the fabric of Lexington.
My name is Christian Adair, the Executive Director of the Lyric Theater and Cultural Arts Center. I was at one time the chair of the board here, and we had to change over in leadership. And so for a little less than a year, I've been leading this awesome opportunity. During segregation, it was a place where only black people could go to watch movies, to watch entertainment, and to be entertainers. This is where it was a safe place. We're part of the Chitlin Circuit, so when acts came came down south from the north or so forth, they knew the places they can go to that were safe. And so this is the place that they all went to. If you were famous and you were influenced in America, which a lot of the music influences music today, this was where they came. And so once integration occurred, this building closed. and we started going to other movie places. But for almost 50 years, for 48 years, this building sat here dilapidated, boarded up. The black community, the East End community, the historic East End community where horse racing began, people had to walk by this building every day, and it hurt our souls. It was a place that you were sad that you couldn't go there any longer because there's nothing going on in there. And it represented a downtrodden community. And when it reopened in 2010, it reopened for everyone. Even though the black community demanded it to be open, even though they wanted this building to be reestablished, they wanted it and they fought for it. And people joined together and it reopened, and now we have the most diversity, the most inclusion, the events that represent everyone here in Lexington and Kentucky. And now we are a huge pot of stew when we have events, you know. And so it's important that everyone is celebrating each other, at least recognizing each other. We all want to be heard. We all want to be recognized. We all want to be, given our due. So this is a place for that. So our events here, our programming here, we are a nonprofit, and we have to raise money, and we have to raise money to be able to do these free programming. So the Jazz, Blues, and Soul Series is free. The gospel event is free. So a lot of times we have to engage with council members and so forth, but on behalf of the city. We work with LFUCG very closely. We're an extension of the city, however, we do have to raise money. And so it's important that people know that these events are free most of the time, but we still ask for donations, we ask for contributions, we have grants, if you know, that we are always looking for opportunity, because every time we get any kind of money, we find a way to give it back to the community. We are a museum, we are an art gallery, we are a community engagement space, and we're a historic theater auditorium with a stage that's amazing. And we want people to come here and utilize this space. But we do need people's assistance, we do need people's help, and we want to continue to do that. So the facility is amazing, the city keeps this facility amazing, and we have a place that I think is a hidden gem still. I don't think everyone should know. We have 330,000 people in here in Lexington. I think everyone should know this place at least exists. And if they want to engage another culture, if they want to share their talent, if they want to come out and enjoy an evening, because entertainment is universal. Dancing, laughing, hugging. Last night during our, and I will go into it, last night we had an intermission, and at that moment it was like everyone was asked to go meet somebody you don't know, engage in a conversation you don't know, because unless the platform is given, most people stand back and they don't engage people. And so last night when people left, they were hugging and smiling, and they made new friends, or at least new acquaintances, and that's what we're about here. So when you leave here, you're going to be smiling and enjoying, or at least more educated. And so I want everybody to know that we need support from the community to do those things. We have an amazing website. So it has many layers on our website. It's historiclyrictheater.com, but we just finished it. And so it's our brand new website. It's also how if you want to rent, if you want to find out what we're doing, if you want to get some history, if you want to listen to the podcast, if you want to listen to oral history, it's all on there. If you want to see art, it's a pretty in-depth website, and that's how you would contact us, or come down here between 10 and 5. Monday through Friday, we're open, so you can walk through the facility and come see the art that's on display, or learn something in our African American Museum/library.
If you've ever wondered about the inner workings of your local government, Civic Lex is the place for you. Executive Director Richard Young tells us what they're all about.
My name is Richard Young, and I'm the Executive Director of Civic Lex. Civic Lex is a nonprofit organization here in Lexington that helps residents connect with local government, learn what local government is considering, and get involved and engage in the process. I started Civic Lex about 5-6 years ago, really around this sort of goal of helping people understand what local government is doing. You know, when people think of government and sort of getting involved, they usually think about the federal level, voting, right, for the presidential election or in a Senate election. But we think that the place that you can make the most change, the place that you can get involved the easiest, is right here at the local level. But a lot of folks don't really understand how to get involved in local government. And so that's sort of what we started around. We are not part of LFUCG, but we do work with the city a lot on various projects. Our offices are downtown on the 4th floor of the Pam Miller Downtown Arts Center, right across from the Central Library. It's great being downtown because we are in and out of City Hall every day, many times per day. So we're right across the street and can walk over there pretty easily. And we love being downtown with all of the wonderful things to do down here. We have 7 staff members, 5 full-time employees, and 2 that are with us through the AmeriCorps Vista program. And our staff do a wide range of things from raising money to ensure that we can keep existing, to attending city meetings and reporting on them, to running programs that get people more engaged and involved in the decisions that the city's considering every day. So right now we're in CivicLex's sort of 5th anniversary. It's really exciting. We've been around for 5 years, and we're sort of trying to figure out what are the next steps for us. And we're also trying to make sure that we can keep existing for another 5 years. And so we're in the middle of a big fundraising campaign to support us over the next 5 years. I think my favorite part of my job is getting to sort of be in City Hall all the time and see residents coming and going and engaging with their council members and engaging on boards and commissions, and really seeing how the sort of voice and perspective of residents from across the city gets sort of integrated into this decisions that the city makes. I think there are a lot of places across the country where residents feel very powerless, right? And they don't know how to, they don't know if local government considers them as sort of in their decision making. But here in Lexington, I think we have a really thoughtful local government that is always looking for ways to bring more people into the process. And my favorite part of my job is seeing that happen in real time. So I think we can see the impact of our work in like a lot of really big ways and a lot of really small ways. I hear from residents all the time about our newsletter that goes out every Monday that sort of walks people through what's happening in local government, that people are learning new things, right? They're like, oh, I didn't know what a cow was, like a committee of the whole. Now I know what that is, and I see that there are some coming up. And just that like little bit of information, right, adds up over time. When people start learning even just these little acronyms and the different sort of things that the city's doing on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis or on an annual basis, it starts to build what we talk about here is like a civic muscle, right? It starts to sort of, just like people go to like a gym and, it takes, at first it's like, oh man, this is really hard. But over time you start sort of building up muscles. That's kind of what it is with sort of civic engagement, right? It takes these small little things here and there, and then over time that adds up into sort of a robust way of engaging. And so we see it in those little small things like people knowing new vocabulary words, but we also see it in how people are showing up to meetings and expressing their voice, or how the city is considering expanding ways for the public to engage, right? These are really big changes from how council works to how the input for the comprehensive plan is gathered. These really big changes in bringing the public into decision making is a significant impact, and we love to think that we're a part of why that's happening. If someone wants to learn more about what we're up to or subscribe to our newsletter, which is free and comes out every Monday, you can just go to civiclex.org. There's a little button in the bottom of the screen that says sign up for our newsletter. Just click that, put in your email address, and you'll start getting it every Monday, more or less every Monday. When council goes on break, we like to take a little bit of a break too. But it's just such a great way for folks to just stay informed and engage with what's happening on a weekly basis and learn like what actually can I show up to and give my input, and what are the other sort of things that I can do to be a more active and engaged citizen.
We have a few live meetings we're bringing you on Lex TV and streaming on our website this week. And remember, you can find all the most accurate and up-to-date information on all city business at lexingtonky.gov. Here's this week's meeting coverage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on X at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it.